We're getting back on track here with Catherine and Emily, but as you know, we won't stay there for long because this is the Going Off Track podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Going Off Track podcast. I am Catherine, that's Emily, and I'm sure everybody who's watching this on YouTube is like, why the heck is Catherine wearing Mercedes gear right now?
And they're like, oh, look, Emily's in another stinking hotel room somewhere in the U.S. Somewhere. Yeah, honestly, just somewhere. But yes, you'd be right. Catherine, I'm currently in Birmingham, Alabama.
I'm currently at home.
It was called the Magic City. I'm like, I've been here a lot. I don't know what's magical about it, but okay. But you used to call this place home.
I did for 10 whole very interesting months.
Oh, I thought you were going to say years. And I was like, where have I missed your lifetime? Like, where am I?
I barely made it to month 10. I could not, I don't know how I can imagine year 10. Oh gosh, no.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, this is an exciting week because we're going to Miami.
Yeah, we're going to the one race.
We're going to Miami.
We literally said we had no interest of ever going to Miami, and look at us going to Miami this weekend for the Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, so like not only are we a collective F1 going to Miami, but we, a collective, Catherine and I, are going to Miami. We're going to the Grand Prix. I'm so excited. It's going to be such a fun F1 weekend. My first F1 experience. I'm pumped. I would not have ever bet money that Miami would be my first F1 experience. But
no, not at all.
I'm here for it. This is, this is fun. We're going. Mm-hmm. And not only are we going, but
we're going somewhere pretty cool.
We are the coolest people in the world. So we were so generously invited to Miami to the premiere of The Seat, which is the documentary on Kimi Antonelli. We were invited by Mercedes and WhatsApp to go to the premiere. And so, yeah, not only do we have some racing, but we have some, schmoozing to do with all of the cool people. I'm just ready to meet Toto.
I mean, yes. And maybe the guy who is the subject of the documentary. Maybe.
I feel like I owe a personal apology to little Kimi Antonelli because I have talked such mad shit about him for so long. But, we're turning a corner. We're coming around.
I mean, look. We were right to be skeptical with what we knew at the time.
We didn't have the whole picture. We didn't have data. We weren't looking at the data points that Toto was looking at. What were we supposed to do?
Exactly. So I think this is really cool. For those of you who don't know, they just announced that this new 45-minute documentary will be landing on Netflix on May 5th, which is this coming Monday. So it'd be right after the Grand Prix. Yep. Basically charting the year that was 2024 in Kimi Antonelli's life, gearing up for his promotion into F1 and all the way into his debut at Melbourne this year. So I think that it's going to be really, I think this is a really interesting thing to do, especially like right off the bat for a guy who's been in Formula One for all of 10 minutes. He's made a lot of great strides in those 10 minutes, but it's really cool that they're doing this, that they had the foresight to obviously the tagline is like, this is the biggest seat change in F1 history, which honestly it is.
Yeah.
So they had the foresight to bring in a documentary team to track it all. And it's like, it's really cool that this is happening and that we get to go see the premiere.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Should be a really cool experience. We'll take you guys along with us the entire time. We're going to be there all weekend. I personally am just really excited to see the fake marina. I always thought Monaco would be my first F1, but why take Monaco when you can have
the fake marina in Miami?
The fake marina of Miami. So, but yeah, super excited.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun.
We'll get to podcast together for the very first time ever, and we'll also get to see each other in person for the first time in like 4 years?
No, it was 2022. We ran into each other in line at the fitting rooms at Zara out here in Phoenix.
In Scottsdale, yeah, because I was just about to leave for Argentina, And you were just about to leave for a vacation, and we just like randomly saw each other in line.
I was about to leave for camp.
For camp. That's
But
what it was.
yeah, I was about to leave for camp, but I was getting dresses for a friend's wedding that I was flying to in the middle of summer. Yeah. That summer. It was 2022. If you know me and you know it was happening in 2022, you know it was a lot. And it was. And eventually we got to the point where we were DMing back and forth on Instagram every 30 seconds, and enter podcast a year later.
There we go.
And here we are now going to Miami.
Yeah, so super excited. We'll have a lot of content, just hang in there. This is going to be a long episode. The recap's going to be a long episode, but it's going to be super fun. We're going to talk about all the things we saw. We'll talk about the documentary. Super excited.
Yeah,
also,
it's going to be really cool.
Speaking of Netflix and like in line with this, I'm really excited too because of the F1 Academy doc is coming out. So that's also going to Netflix. I know. And I think they're doing something this weekend as well because it's coming out like next month, end of May. Yeah. So this is the documentary that Hello Sunshine is doing, which is Reese Witherspoon's production company, following the 2024 season of the F1 Academy. I'm really excited to see it. I'm excited to like get more information and see more behind the scenes, see Susie in action. Oh my God, if we see Susie this weekend, I think I might pass away.
I know.
And if we see her and Toto, just kill me.
Done. Yeah. No, I'm really excited for this. I was a little like, we hadn't heard about it for so long after it was first announced, which like obviously that's not uncommon, but I had thought of like, oh, they're going to do the 2024 season, so at some point it'll come out. And then they just hadn't talked about it. And I'm like, oh, are they covering the 2025 F1 Academy season instead, which hopefully they're also doing that as well during the season. But it'll be cool to relive 2024, even though it was like all Abby pulling dominance, but also like it's great to have a whole documentary series introducing this new avenue of women to get into motorsport that is doing so much. And we'll talk about what's going on in F1 Academy later and the current wildcard driver, but getting more women into the lower levels of motorsport and getting them into karting, which is where you basically have to start out in karting to get into open wheel.
Into a single seater. Like you have to start somewhere. And so, no, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. It's going to be like, mark my calendar for May 28th. That's what I will be doing, is I will be watching the entire thing probably same day. Let's be real.
Exactly, yeah. So some other exciting news. Mexico City Grand Prix extended to 2028. So I know we've been talking a lot about like the schedule mix-up, and there's certain circuits that are coming off, some that are, possibly jockeying to come back to the schedule or be on the schedule for the first time, but we will have Mexico City through 2028. I'm excited. I know that it was like, oh, well, Checo's not here anymore, so should we still have this Grand Prix? But I feel like it's still such a good Grand Prix. There's a ton of fans in Mexico. It's honestly probably the second closest Grand Prix to me. I'm pretty sure Mexico City's closer to me than Miami.
Probably.
So I know they get a big pull from the US as well because it's, an affordable one compared to some of the other Grand Prix in the US. But yeah, I'm really excited. I like that race. I love the stadium. I think it's super cool. So I'm fine with this one staying on the schedule.
Yeah, I'm really happy for like there's something about the extra challenge of Mexico because it's the highest altitude race of the year, and that brings like a whole other like helping of like technical stuff that happens with the cars and how the cars are able to drive and cool themselves. So the fact that we're keeping that race with those unique challenges on a track that is, yes, difficult to overtake on, but is still exciting and is one of the faster tracks of the year, I think is a benefit, A, to the calendar as a whole, and B, to racing in the Americas, because there are only so many good races in the Americas and also so many good tracks. Because COTA is a phenomenal track, Mexico City is a phenomenal track, and Sao Paulo is a phenomenal track. Miami and Vegas is not terrible, and we've all heard about my thoughts of Miami by now. So, and of course that's the one we're going to. But
and I don't think it's Canada either.
Oh, I'm sorry, Canada. I keep forgetting about Canada. Canada is not the most exciting track. not
No,
terrible, but it is definitely not in that tier of the Codas, the Mexico
it's
Cities, and the
not in
Sao
the upper
Paulos.
echelon of the Americas races.
No, it's in Canada, and this
It's
year
a
in
tier
Canada in a
2.
weird space on the calendar, which we've also
Exactly.
talked about. But this is good for the sport. Obviously, Checo still remains high on the list of candidates for a Cadillac seat, which
Just
it
retire.
makes sense.
Take the L. Take the L.
It
Be with your
makes
family.
sense because like I actually something I saw somewhere that said like the top candidates right now are Checo and Zhou Guanyu, who is currently serving as a Ferrari reserve driver, which would be an interesting duo that are certainly capable of driving an F1 car. And, one of the problems with some of the other candidates is a lot of the other names that have been thrown out have been IndyCar candidates who
Right.
probably could transition over to, Formula One pretty okay, but might not. So I think this is a good, that wouldn't be a terrible pairing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to figure it out soon. I'm sure we'll hear news soon, but I
know Checo's not your favorite.
But like I just cuz here's the thing. I like don't want him to come back, but secretly I'm like, please put him in the seat. New team, never been on the grid before. How many double DNFs can we get from him in a season? Like, let's break some records.
Or
let's
maybe it'll be a better,
ourselves.
but also like maybe it will be a better fit for him compared to his time at Red Bull.
I don't know.
Because he was a very capable driver for a very long time in the
right, but now he's
enduring
old,
saga of Racing Point and Force India, blah blah blah. We have a whole entire genealogy series that traces how Racing Point came to be Aston Martin, which is all linked above. So it might be a matter of it just wasn't a great fit for him at Red Bull anymore, and
that's fair.
I mean,
but at the same time, like his driving definitely did decline, and you can't say it was the car because Max was winning world championships. So yeah, like I see him on the decline. I think he should just retire, like go out gracefully, be in this weird ambassador role at Red Bull, and then just like disappear off into the sunset into your like $16 million condo in Miami. Like that's my biggest wish. Checo.
Yeah, speaking of the condo that he did purchase in Miami, maybe that means that he'll show up at the race weekend. I think that would be a little awkward.
Let's just like pause here, and apologies in advance for us just like talking about Miami. I think if I saw George, I'd be like, George, and keep walking. Like I wouldn't even think about like, oh, I should go talk to him or like take a picture with him. I think it would just be like, George. And now I say that now, but of course, like I would fangirl if I see him in person.
Yeah, honestly, I like 100% don't believe you.
Unless he's wearing a sweater. I refuse. It's summer. It's gonna happen.
80 degrees. I mean, I know
it was 80 degrees in Zandvoort, and he was wearing a sweater and a jacket.
Yeah, you're right. Bishop.
I cannot get over the style choices, but anyways, I digress.
Bishop,
Still very excited.
Do not eat that, Bishop.
Bishop.
So we recorded something before we started recording this episode that we're going to tag on to the end, but let's just say that Bishop was maybe trying to eat something that came out of a box that I got in the mail.
Oh, Bishop. Okay, so getting back to fun news this week. So there is a new corporate sponsorship, we'll say, with F1. So not a team, but with F1 its entirety, I guess. So PwC, or PricewaterhouseCoopers, has joined as the official consulting partner of F1. So they're going to be providing strategic consulting to F1 across key areas of its global business to help enhance performance and the sport's drive for operational excellence. So I thought this was really cool and exciting. Some of you might roll your eyes and think it's not, but this is my world. So PwC is a Big Four firm. So they do consulting, audit, tax, all that stuff. And that's the world that I work in on my day-to-day job. So it's just cool to see like my worlds colliding. All of my friends were like, did you see PwC as a sponsor? And I was
yes,
yes, I did. You're like the 100th person, but I'm so flattered that you thought of me. But yeah, they're like, are you going to talk about it on the podcast? Like you can talk about like Big Four stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can, but that's will put people to sleep. But yeah, so super cool. I think it's really interesting, an interesting sponsorship. They're really big in the consulting world, so we'll see what comes out of this for operational excellence and enhancing performance. But kind of cool.
Yes. Very, very, very cool. Very interesting. I think it's always really interesting to see what companies come in to sponsor a sport like
what
Formula One.
And
What
exactly.
and we'll talk a little bit about that with a new sponsor partner for F1 Academy later. But I think it's so interesting when you have like a consulting firm coming in to help consult with sports and like the pinnacle of international motorsport. I think it's always very interesting to see who's throwing their hat in with Formula One right now, especially since like Formula One is the hot thing internationally and not just like, oh, it's that sport that people watch in Europe.
Yeah, well, and so PwC and all the big four are like global brands, so they operate worldwide. So I think that makes sense versus like a regional firm or a smaller firm that's only in the US. So this definitely has like the international pull. But I'm really interested to know like what these key areas are. I have to say, or like imagine the number one thing is like logistics. I would think another would be like ESG. So they do a lot of like impact on the environment and things like that, because I know they're trying to go net zero by 2030. Right. Is it 2050? It's 2030, 30. Right? Yeah. So I think like that's like when I heard key areas, that's kind of like what popped into my head on how to like, you know, operational efficiencies and just see like where they're at, how they can get to net zero in from a consulting space. But I don't know what like other key areas are. So I'm interested to see if there's results, if we hear about the results, or, you know, what happens.
Hopefully we can find out about like more about what they're doing, because that could be like an interesting it's been a minute since we've done an F101.
It really has.
We have a whole series of F101s on like educational behind the scenes stuff. I tend to throw out like the 2016 and 2005 season/race as some of those episodes, but that could be something that we could do for like an F101 one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
Okay, and then we all get to have a good jolly old laugh on this next bit of news. So YPF president. So if you don't know what YPF is, I want to say like the government owned or government run like oil and gas petroleum company. I'm fairly positive it's government run, but they're like the big sponsor. So they sponsor like the national teams, like the team Messi plays on, they sponsor them. They sponsor a lot of like big athletes, big sports coming out of Argentina. So they are aligned with Franco Colapinto. They're one of his big backers. He's currently, you know, a reserve driver in the stable at Alpine.
All 800 of them.
All 800 of them. But we might be seeing Franco's debut, according to the YPF president. So, yeah, Horatio Marin, who is the president and CEO of YPF, was asked on a broadcast, like, if Franco's ever going to make his Alpine debut or, like, when it's going to happen. And he was like, oh, yeah, Imola.
Well, here's the thing. He said that he didn't know when he was on camera, and then as soon as like the camera I guess panned away from him, apparently he didn't realize that his microphone was still hot. And he's like, oh, it'll be Imola, which for those of you who don't have the schedule practically memorized, Imola's the next race after Miami.
Yeah, and like I don't know, this hot mics, man, they'll get you. But I just don't know how much I believe. Like, yes, you're a big sponsor, so you might have some insight. And, like, I think he would, because they would change sponsoring on the car or whatever. But, I mean, unless I see it coming as an official announcement from the team, like, I don't believe it 100%.
We're not gonna know for sure until Alpine comes out and says Jack is out. Obviously, this is Jack's seat, not Pierre's. But the thing about this is it just, timing wise, Alpine really just can't help themselves, because they literally, the last time we talked about this, which I think was right after Saudi Arabia, Alpine's team principal, Oliver Oakes, came out and said that Jack Doohan is going to be with the team until at least the summer break. Imola is way before the summer break. And this goes back and forth to something that we talk about all the time in the DMs, is who's in charge at Alpine? Is it Oliver Oakes, or is it Flavio Briatore? Obviously it's Flavio Briatore, but like, then why are you letting Ollie Oakes say these things? And this is just continuing to like Like, this is not helping Jack's case at all.
No.
And Jack has been doing moderately decently. Like, he's not lighting things up, but he's
I
not
would say
terrible.
His trajectory is up.
Yes, exactly.
Like, he's gradually at
he's doing what a rookie should be doing and is improving like a rookie.
Yes, he is showing like the expected trajectory of a rookie for like baseline. And I think reasonable people would say he's on that line. I'm sure he's not up to standard or up to snuff coming from like Flavio's perspective, but this is kind of what we anticipated. Like, I would say Kimi is exceeding expectations for those of us who like he is a child and how good is he actually going to do, exceeding expectations. Ollie Behrman, like, yeah, he's doing better than average, better than expected. And then you have Isaac Hadjar, who's also creeping up there. And I think Doohan and even Bortoleto, they're really right kind of where you think a rookie will be for having 5 races under their belt. So
yeah, and I mean, like, we know that Bortoleto's car is not fast.
No.
And we know that the Alpine has a lot of potential to be fast. I mean, obviously Pierre keeps putting in these quali times and keeps, finishing the top 10. We get very confused because we always forget about Pierre. But Jack, like, just give him some time to stop talking about him being replaced by the golden boy of Formula One 2024 in Franco Colapinto. Like, Franco will get his time. Like, I don't doubt that he will get his Formula One seat eventually, but it doesn't need to be in such a dirty way of just constantly undercutting everything that Jack and Oliver Oaks are doing in order to get him into that seat, which is all of Alpine's own making.
Exactly. And honestly, like, I really like Franco. I know we've talked about this. Like, he's my boy, and I think he will have a career in F1. I don't want to see it happen with Alpine. I just
That's
don't.
The other problem.
Because, like, this is, I mean, they've gone through how many team principals, and they all leave at Spa. And so it's like, then you're just juggling. It's such a nightmare. I personally think their house is on fire. Who wants to drive for a team like that? I know you just want a seat and you just want to be there and whatever. But, like, I wouldn't want to start my career on the wrong foot to just, like, tumble out and, I don't know. That's just me personally. But,
yeah,
I'm not a driver, so.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but it's just, I think that Alpine is doing a disservice to its driver in Jack. And that's the part that, unless he's, like, putting up damage financial numbers like Logan Sargent did, then they just need to calm down and let him run through the rookie program. Like, that's what Isaac Hadjar is doing. And Isaac Hadjar is exceeding expectations as a Red Bull rookie. And he is doing exactly what he needs to be doing in the Racing Bulls. And, like, and they're letting him have that. Obviously, he had his big moment in Australia that just, like, didn't necessarily start things off on the right foot, but made him very popular. Yeah. And, like, let Jack learn how to be an F1 driver. And that is not something that you can do as a reserve driver. He's been in that role since Oscar left Alpine.
Yep. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, we can't even predict what's going to happen at Alpine because it's just such a disaster.
Yeah, so. I don't like it for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And to move on to things that we have opinions about.
We don't have opinions about anything else, Catherine.
We have so many opinions. And to be fair, waking up this morning, I did not think that we were going to have this conversation today. Like, full stop, I did not expect that we were going to have to talk about this, especially after what we talked about last year and everything that had happened last year. Like, I did not think that we were going to have to deal with this again.
Let's go back to my favorite concept. These are large global brands. They employ a lot of people.
Thousands of people have to approve
Thousands of people have to approve and sign off and say, okay. And this is the product we're freaking left with. If by now you don't know what we're talking about, then you absolutely live under a rock and are blind. But we're currently talking about the failed attempt, of Ferrari to do a fun blue livery.
For the second year in a row.
So bad. Oh my God, Catherine. I'm like, when I saw it, I was cringing. It literally looks like they had 2 parts of a car and like half a part was from another team that happens to be
it's
blue,
a Williams,
and they've just shoved it together because they're like, oh no, we lost the top of our car. Hey Williams, you have a spare top of your car? Great, we will put it on top. Ta-da, blue Ferrari.
Yeah, this drives me crazy because and not only that, but Ferrari hyped up the blue Ferrari livery for weeks going into Miami last year, and all we got was that stupid car with a couple splats of blue all over it. And so this year they're probably like, oh, this is so great. There's so much more blue. People are gonna love it. And I'm like, if you don't give us a full blue car, do not give us anything at all. Give us a red Ferrari back.
It's so bad, Catherine.
Like, legitimately, we talked about this all of last year.
And here's the thing, too. When I saw first, and I don't know if they were dropped at different times or my algorithm, whatever, I first saw the driver suits. I was like, oh, boom. Love the commitment.
Great.
They look great. The blue and white, obsessed. So much better than last year. Like, we're getting a solid blue, awesome, tricked out livery for Miami from Ferrari. And then I saw the livery and I was like, why? What's the point? This is so bad.
And honestly, I think that part of the problem here is their title sponsor with HP. If HP was not a title sponsor, we would not be dealing with this, and let alone not be dealing with this 2 years in a row.
But see, I say it's the pride of the Ferrari because, like, make it blue. Why can't you have a blue car? Commit to it. Do it. How cool and different and fun would it be? Like, can you imagine to be like, yeah, I'm the person that turned the Ferrari car blue? Hello?
Yeah.
As long as it's good, you'll be praised for it. How different and fun and cool. Like,
no, I looked at the comments and everybody is just like, what the hell is this? And like, even I sent it to you with all caps, thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, it's like, it's not a complete thought. And like, I don't know what 1,000 people were like, yes, this is good. Like, I just don't understand. I honestly don't. And I just continue to question the direction of Ferrari. I don't know.
The problem, and I said this last year, is that Ferrari's brand standard is likely, I don't know because I haven't seen it, but likely it has to be a predominantly red car. So, and they're backing themselves into corners where they could have some really cool liveries. They could have had a really cool yellow livery, a really cool black livery, a really cool blue livery. But no, they have to make sure in some way there's like 50, like, what is this, 60% red on this car? Like, it's just so
They need to give a little wiggle room because, like, even in Vegas when they had like the throwback wing to where it like it looks like it was the old marble. Yeah, like how cool would it have been to have that, but be all black and white? Especially like that's the color of cards. Like you could have done something really cool in Vegas.
You could have had the Ferrari red accent still in that, but no, it like you have to have a red car with we're gonna put a little strip of yellow in the side that you could barely see. Like it makes me so mad. Like I don't think I have been this mad at a livery since A, last year's Miami livery nonsense, and B, last year's Red Bull Silverstone car where they just splattered red paint all over their regular livery and it was like, what the hell is that?
Oh wait, you mean that's not an original thought coming out of Steak this weekend?
No, because Steak also just like threw neon green splatter paint all over their car. And like honestly, it's like just give us last year's livery back.
It worked when VCARB did it though, when it was like the car wash splatter.
VCARB is different, VCARB is perfect. VCARB can do no wrong.
They go out the window when it comes to VCARB.
But VCARB comes up with good liveries.
How Miami is it to do a full pink livery? This is what we wanted from Alpine last year. This is what we were expecting, the pink camo. It's not camo, but it's super cool. It's all pink. It's not even VCARB. They're the Racing Bulls now, but who cares?
It's so
I'm obsessed. It's so cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. And also it like Ferrari is doing a tie-in with HP. They're a printer company, so basically they just should put a bunch of printer emojis all over the Ferrari and call it a day. And Racing Bulls is doing this for the limited edition summer white peach Red Bull, which I actually saw in the grocery store when I was at the market yesterday. Which reminds me, I was supposed to go to the market today and I forgot.
Is that Celsius?
Good job. No, Red Bull.
Oh,
yeah.
Duh. Oh my God. You can tell I've been working and I haven't slept when I just thought that Red Bull was featuring a different energy drink on their car.
Oops, it's been a long day for you. But and also I think the other cool thing is like McLaren on their regular car livery, they have the Google wheel on their wheel rims. VCARB Racing Bulls has like the top of a can, like the pull tab with a little pink bit. If you look at the tires, you can see it. It's like this really subtle, really cool bit where like they understand the assignment of how to make an homage to a product that represents them. Whereas Ferrari decided, let's really awkwardly throw a Ferrari livery with a Williams livery.
They missed that semester in school. That's what happened.
And before we move on to a specific helmet that stands out to us this weekend, I just want to talk about one of my issues with the steak livery rollout is that all of the social media assets are AI generated. And I know that like AI is the new hot thing and that's what everyone's turning towards, but everything just looked like a rendering, and it really like it didn't feel like they actually showed off pictures of the car and like imagery of the car until way after. I was just not a fan of anything related to the rollout. Like honestly, they should have given us the April Fool's Day steak livery.
I know, I'm still waiting for it. Honestly,
that like it's low-hanging fruit, but honestly you like and the thing about it is like the steak livery this year, like with the green and black gradient, is not awful. It's not great, but it's better than going back to the same neon green color that we had last year. That was like the splatter paint is just like that but messier.
Yeah, I mean, you know my philosophy on steak. I think they're just
waiting to become Audi. Yeah.
They've just given up. So
yeah, Jonathan Wheatley, who's the new team principal, he left Red Bull to take the role this year. He's like, they just need confidence. I'm like, no, Jonathan, they need a faster car.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this helmet that we speak of, so this man just cannot miss, and I think he will go down as the greatest helmet designer wearer of all time. We, of course, are talking about Mr. Alex Albon. So he literally just dropped right as we were beginning to record his helmet for this weekend.
It's an orange.
It's an orange. Bright orange, fully in orange with a cute little topper. It's so good. Like I want to say unexpected, but it shouldn't be because like Florida oranges. But I never would have thought someone would just turn their helmet into an orange.
Well, I mean, this is the man who turned his helmet into a panda last year in China, which is 100% one of the best helmets of all time. But honestly, I was a little surprised that this didn't come from Lando, because I feel like this is something that Lando would do in Miami. He's done the beach ball. He did the 100th race anniversary helmet. Like it felt
Have we gotten a Miami helmet from Lando yet?
No, I haven't seen one yet. If not, we'll talk about it in the reaction episode. But it's like, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love it from Alex. It's just I didn't expect it from Alex.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. No. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I feel like a lot of the drivers do fun helmets for Miami just because it is like Miami.
Yeah.
So, but okay. Can we just get into the race for this year?
Yeah, I mean, the most notable thing from last year was it was Lando's first win and kind of like the beginning of Lando's downfall, going from like fan favorite on the grid to like, oh, it's this entitled little turkey. Or maybe that's just me.
Catherine's projecting again.
Catherine's projecting, but I'm also not wrong.
No, this is, I agree to an extent, but yeah. Also, just a reminder to everybody, Zach Brown has a tattoo of the Miami racetrack because Lando won and he has yet to put any marking on his body for Oscar. So another, tick against Zach, but it is what it is. We'll get over it.
Are we surprised? No. Will we get over it? Also, no.
Yeah. So we have a lot of racing this weekend, though, because it's a sprint weekend. So, yeah, that's, always fun to look forward to.
It's sprint weekend and also chance of rain. And that's been like the big thing in the news. And I think we're not going to know what the real forecast for Saturday and Sunday is going to be until we get to Saturday and Sunday. It is Wednesday as we record this. And right now, percent chance of rain basically throughout all 3 days of the race weekend is between 20 and 25%, other than a lot more rain expected Saturday evening, which might make our evening plans at the premiere a little complicated, a little funky.
Can't wait.
Hopefully it's indoors.
But here's the thing with Miami, like weather changes so quickly and it moves through so fast. So
right. It's like if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes and the sun will come back out.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting for like qualifying into race, just seeing if people are really truly anticipating there to be rain, if they change the setup. I think that's always interesting when people go aggressive with the setup at qualifying, because then the car goes into parc fermé, you can't change it, and in the rain you need a different setup sometimes. So I think qualifying could be interesting if teams think that there really will be heavy rain on Sunday.
Both qualifyings will be interesting in general, because we will have two qualifyings because it is a sprint weekend.
Yes,
because for some reason they think
it's
that
not
Miami is a sprint
qualifying.
race.
It's the sprint shootout, Catherine. Get with the branding.
No.
Okay, well, with that, let's get into our predictions because we have a whole heap of them.
So many.
So let's get into the sprint first. So sprint pole, who you got, Catherine?
I went with Max. I feel like I've been picking Oscar for a while, so I'm gonna throw Max out, and we're gonna see if we're gonna get the Red Bull that we saw in Saudi Arabia, if we're gonna see an even angrier Max version of the Red Bull we saw in Saudi Arabia, because everything that had happened in Saudi Arabia, basically Max's reaction to Saudi Arabia is the only thing that's really been in the news this week, which honestly I don't care about. He's upset. He's allowed to have feelings. Get over it.
And that's the thing. I don't like that. Here I am defending Max Verstappen. What is happening to me today, Catherine?
Right.
Next thing you know, I'll be begging Checo to come back to the grid.
No, you're not.
No, but I think it's really annoying because athletes are allowed to be upset after a loss, and they're painting him to be like a spoiled brat or like a snooty little kid. And it's like, no, he's allowed to be upset with the performance and what happened. Like, give him a break. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like the one that really stood out was Johnny Herbert, who was he's a former driver, he's a former steward who left his job as a steward under a lot of fun and entertaining pretenses. He was the one who was responsible for giving Max those penalties in COTA and in Mexico last year when he was fighting with Lando, and like obviously Johnny Herbert is on Team Lando. Like, we don't even need him to say that, but like why is it necessary other than like people like to keep their names in the news?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm riding the Oscar train still, so I have Oscar as my sprint pole sitter.
I felt like if I picked Oscar, then I was just like I haven't.
He just always
picked
is good in the sprints. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
he's really good in the sprint races, which is why I have Oscar. So
yeah, I mean it's fair. I'm probably wrong. You're probably right. We'll see.
We will see. All right, and then sprint podium. So this was hard for me. I have Oscar, Max, Charles, and I know I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot for this, and I don't love it, but
yeah, which I also struggled with this, and like we said that we were gonna after Saudi Arabia, we weren't gonna put our trust in George. I went Oscar, Max, George again.
You're doing it.
Which means it's going to be Oscar, Max, Charles. So, we'll see. I feel like looking at last year's results, looking at this year's grid, like there are only so many names, and
I know that's the thing. Yeah, and I think that's why I think that's good on us for giving ourselves 3 points for just getting the podium, because I feel like we could pick Oscar, Max, and George, unfortunately. And like, that's who our podium is going to be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar, Max, George, Oscar, Max, Lando, Oscar, Max, Charles.
Charles, yeah.
Are those combinations are all like what the podiums are going to look like, at least for the first half of the year, until we see some upgrades and some changes, and maybe get like some surprises.
Yeah. Okay. And then P8, so we picked P8 for the sprints because it's the last position where you get a point. You get 1 point for P8. We give ourselves 3 because it is so difficult to pick this.
Which you picked last week.
I picked P10, not P8. I think the sprint's harder
same
to pick.
Difference.
Completely. Okay. I have Alex Albon.
So I started my predictions with Alex Albon, and then I changed it to Lewis Hamilton.
You know, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not a bad pick. I mean, it'll be like, oh, the mighty have fallen because the last sprint we had, he won, but I don't think that's happening again.
Yeah,
but no, I think
they're
that's
struggling right now.
So, to be honest, I started with Carlos, and then I was like, oh, wait, no. He doesn't do good on sprint weekends.
No.
It'll be Alex Albon. But I had a feeling it was going to be a Williams, so...
Yeah, I mean that definitely could be it. I just feel like Lewis he's struggling with the car. He's gonna struggle with the car for a while, and so I think like points, like the vicinity of points, is where we can expect Lewis to be. It's just not at the vicinity of points that we're seeing from the likes of like George and Kimi.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that brings us into the race.
Yes.
So who do you have on pole for the race?
This time I did go with Oscar. So I split the difference. I probably flipped it, but we'll see.
I have Max.
Why do we do this?
I don't know. Because if we picked the same thing, it wouldn't be fun because we would both lose every single point. But yeah, and then for my race podium, I have Oscar, Max, and I do have Lando on the podium. I don't think I'm gonna like that come Sunday, but I do.
Okay. I went Oscar, Max, and maybe just like riding the high of his documentary premiere. I'm going with Kimi again.
Oh, I want him to be on a podium so bad. Okay, you know what? I know I talked a lot of shit about the rookies, and I'm a flipper, and we all know this. I want an all-rookie podium. How cute would that be?
Oh my God.
Or like two rookies and Fernando Alonso, because that'll like break every history book ever. Like, I love it. And also, go off track with me here for a sec, friends. So all of the talk from the rookies about how old Fernando Alonso is sending me. I am dead. It's so hilarious. But it's also wild to think like he's this old and he's still like racing. And I wouldn't say he's like having the best year of his career at all.
No.
But he's still out there doing it better than any other 40-something-year-old could. So
and he's still committed to staying through his contract. Like that was like the question is, Fernando's having a terrible year, but Fernando is also contracted with Aston Martin through 2026, and he's committed to staying through the regulation change. So I think that Aston Martin is really just there on the, we're going to get through the year. We're not going to have a great car, but in 2026, we're going to have an Adrian Newey car, and it's going to be amazing.
Right, and I think
that's what Fernando wants to see.
This is a throwaway year for them as well. Like, Stake doesn't care about what's happening anymore. Neither does Aston Martin. I truly don't think Aston Martin's putting, everything behind it this season because they know next season is going to be a big one for them. And they're just like, they've stopped all engineering for this year and they're just focused on next year, which I don't blame them. Like, I would do the same thing.
Teams do that all the time. Williams has done it. I mean, we're talking about teams that are in the second half.
Everyone's doing it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the time where if you know that you're not going to be competitive, then you might as well not put in the money so that you can put forward the money to next year or extra catering.
Yeah.
That is a Red Bull joke if you're living under a rock. I'm hilarious.
Cool. And then P10 for the race, because that's the last place where you get points in the race. I can't believe I have this answer. I have Pierre Gasly.
Ooh.
How I remembered he's a driver, I could not tell you, but yeah, I'm feeling like he's a P10er.
Okay. I went with Isaac Hadjar.
I love that. I always love when Isaac gets points. It makes me so happy.
I want him to get more points than P10, but I think that the range of P9 through P12 is kind of where Isaac is right now.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I still love what I'm seeing from him.
But you know what? That's a great place to be as a rookie. So
yeah,
I'll take it.
Exactly.
All right, then just for funsies, let's get into our biggest surprise and who's going to do a dumb. So I took some very large liberties here this weekend. So surprise of the weekend, we meet Toto and Susie.
Yes.
I chose not to be race related. And I'm just making this all about us. So what's your biggest surprise of the weekend?
My biggest surprise is race related because I'm not that much of a creative thinker compared to you, and I went with a double points for Haas.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I
do
mean,
love that.
Home country race. You could say that it is their actual home race since it is the geographically closest to North Carolina. So hopefully this is a good weekend. I mean, and Ollie's been fine. Is Esteban Ocon going to have a good weekend in that car? So we'll see. I'm thinking like 8-9. They can do an 8-9.
Yeah. Just not 10 because that, we didn't pick them for P10.
Right, exactly.
I think you mean it's Pierre Gasly. Okay, and then who is going to do a dumb for you this weekend, Catherine?
Oh, my dumb is just Ferrari. They've already done the dumb. We're done. We don't even need to see what the other dumbs are because nothing is going to beat the stupid car.
Yeah, no, I also said Ferrari. We're struggling.
I am not going to try to be nice to them.
Support them. I love Ferrari. Even though Carlos is gone.
The one thing that I will say is at least they didn't make their drivers look like gas station mechanics this time.
Or that they work at McDonald's.
Yeah. Like that is one thing to their credit because everything else, like the car looks terrible, but like the race gear, the merch, that does look good. So they nailed that this year.
One good thing. Maybe next year it'll be great. Highly doubt
maybe.
It.
Probably not.
All right. Let's jump quickly into our F1 Academy update because we do have an F1 Academy race this weekend, which Catherine and I also get to go to, which I'm really excited to see. So that'll be super, super fun. But yeah, so give us a quick update. What can we expect to see in Miami? Who's our wild card driver? Yeah.
So it's actually kind of fun that we're doing this. Like, we don't have to do like a full, like, let's catch you up on F1 Academy because we did just talk about them after Saudi Arabia, which was the last race. So it's kind of cool that we have them in back-to-back races. So if you want to know what happened in Saudi Arabia last time out, go check out our Saudi Arabia reaction. I also need to clip the F1 Academy bit, which I will do. It will be in the F1 Academy playlist at some point before I leave for Florida. But one of the highlights is Mercedes driver Dorian Pon. She will be driving a special Miami livery similar to the Mercedes Miami merch line that they've released for the weekend, which has this like salmon colored pink design. It's very cute.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I think it's fun that like the F1 teams can also they can play with liveries on the F1 Academy cars, and they've done that. One of the Red Bull canceled liveries from 2024 was actually on the F1 Academy livery the weekend that it should have also been on the main car. So they still get that opportunity to do, which is really cool.
Maybe they'll test drive a blue Ferrari livery at some point.
Oh my God. Maya Luke in a blue Ferrari would be so cool.
Yes. Okay, so who's our wild card driver for this weekend then?
So we've got an American wildcard driver. So exciting. She's from Minnesota. Her name is Ava Dobson.
Such a Minnesota name.
Very new to open wheel. She started open wheel racing in 2023 in the Formula 4 US Championship. Last year, she made 2 appearances in GB4 and is currently racing a full season in GB4 with Arden Motorsport. And what's really cool for her is she will be driving in a special Morgan Stanley livery, as Morgan Stanley has just joined F1 Academy. They're the first financial services partner to join with a female, I think just in general, a female single-seater series. So that's Susie Wolf is just nailing it out of the park again. And I think that that's really, really cool, really exciting that we're seeing like these organizations that typically put a lot of money into men's sport are also putting things into women's sports.
I agree. I think it's really cool. I love that they have this wildcard driver. It's like one of my favorite things about the Academy, honestly.
Yeah. And to look back at last year really quick, just because we have 2 championship contenders this year in Dorian Pon and Chloe Chambers. Chloe Chambers last year was driving the Haas car, and she is still the best performing Haas car in the history of Haas in Formula 1 and in single-seater motorsport. And so Pon finished P2 and P3 in the 2 races last year. Chambers finished P3 in race 1. I know that Chambers has said already this weekend that she's like aiming for a podium, aiming for a win, and she is also like aiming for the championship this year. So those are two, Dorian Pon and Chloe Chambers, who is now driving for Red Bull, are two drivers to keep an eye out for this weekend, especially since for everyone who's a non-rookie, this is a track that everybody is familiar with because they drove in Miami last year.
It'll be so much fun to see in person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested, like, because I know people show videos of this, but I really want to see like the difference between like the speed of all of the like support series and then F1, because I know it's like so drastically different.
I think it's between like 40 and 50 seconds between F1 and F1 Academy. I'm actually not sure what it is for like F2 and F3, but there is a significant change. Like, it is significantly slower in an F1 Academy car. They're also significantly smaller than an F1 car. Like, and it is very noticeable on camera. Like, you get a ton more overtaking in F1 Academy than you do in F1 because the F1 cars are massive, and the F1 Academy cars, which don't have DRS, they just have audacity and your ability to outbrake your opponent. And it's very interesting to see the difference in these styles of racing in these two series.
Yeah. Should be fun to see.
I'm so excited to see them in person. Like, yes, it's exciting to see Formula One in person, but I'm really excited to see the Academy in person.
No, for sure. And I haven't like had the time or capacity to like watch as many races or anything from the Academy as you have. So I'm excited to like actually be able to see it in person and watch it. So with that being said, coming up next will be our Miami Grand Prix recap episode, which will come out on Monday. Catherine and I will be doing it together for the very first time. I'm so excited. We have a lot going on this weekend. We're going to be watching a ton of racing. We're going to some cool events. Hopefully, you know, getting to see cool people as well. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, going.off.track. for updates, behind the scenes, all the content from our weekend in Miami. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for going off track with us, and go off track with us. And now watch our unboxing of our merch from WhatsApp and Mercedes.
Yes, they were nice enough to send us a little box. So we recorded our unboxing of that box prior to recording, which we will tackle on at the end of the episode. So enjoy, and we will see you on Monday.
See you in Miami.
This is a giant box. You can't really tell on camera, but if I tilt it this way, like, it doesn't even fit in my frame. This box is huge. I sent Emily a picture of it this morning, and it, like, my shoes to scale, and there were a lot of shoes to one box.
Yeah, no. And so what's in this fun box? Well, Catherine and I are so excited. We were gifted some fun merch from Mercedes and WhatsApp in promotion with The Seat, which is the documentary coming out with Kimi Antonelli, one of the largest or the biggest seat change in F1 history.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So in line with their promotion, they sent us a great box, and we're going to open it, and I'm very excited since we don't live in the same place. Catherine has the box, and I'm going to see it for the first time with you guys, so I'm really excited. Okay, Catherine, please. I've been waiting like days to see this. Please open the box.
Yeah,
I am the worst person ever.
Like, the fact that I have been able to, like, not open it myself, I'm just, like, I'm very impressed with myself and my own self-restraint.
So much stronger than I am. I never would be able to do this. I would have opened it and, like, pretended to be surprised.
Well,
if we're being completely honest.
That's where I left it, like, in my doorway where I kicked it to, which that's how I leave most packages that I find outside my door. And I just could not bring myself to. Oh, this is better. So the box is massive, but
it's so small.
This is the actual thing. Thank goodness. So this box is adorable, for the record. Which, this is not the only thing in the box, because the reason why the box is gigantor is, and I know what this is. This is a poster of the documentary. So what do you want first, poster or box?
Let's see the poster. I want to see the poster.
I only have
now
so
that
much
the
desk
massive
space.
box is out of
now that the massive box
we
is
can
done
take a comfy seat and do this.
Oh, thank goodness. It's like trying to shove your hand into a box of Pringles. All right. It is a delightful copy of the seat poster with Kimi Antonelli. Love this picture of him. Yes.
Obsessed. I know, it's such a good picture. Someone posted like a meme and it was him like being like Hannah Montana, like the best of both worlds.
Yes.
It's like him and then like him being a student. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, here it's a little flatter. The
So
Seat
cool.
on Netflix.
Love
May
it.
5th. Make sure
Official
you tune
movie
in.
Poster.
Yes, that is the official poster. Now let's see what is in the WhatsApp box.
This is a really cute box, and I love the little car logo that they have.
The car emoji is great, and I think that if you use WhatsApp and you like go into like the emojis on WhatsApp, the car will actually show up and it will look like the Mercedes car.
I couldn't get it to work though, because I like strictly use WhatsApp for several messages. But
okay, we have an external battery pack from our friends at Apple. Not sponsored.
Love.
Shout out.
That'll come in handy.
That will definitely come in handy. From Mercedes and WhatsApp, we know you're always down for an F1 chat, so here's something new to chat about.
Love.
Yes.
So cute.
We have a Mercedes the Seat chocolate bar.
Obsessed.
And we have this adorable little baggie.
Cute.
Yes.
So cute. Love.
Yes, the official team partner said, let's go. It's got the little car. That's adorable. Thank you so much to Mercedes and to WhatsApp for sending us this adorable little package full of merch. I cannot wait to snack on the chocolate bar. I have heard so many good things about Tony's Chocolonely.
We
will split the bar in Miami. I promise.
Fine.
I will not eat the whole thing. I will also bring the battery pack because we're gonna need it when we're in Miami. And it's also shout out to Mercedes knowing that I'm bringing my gigantic external battery pack for my phone, which is like a million times bigger than this. It also lasts like 4 days, which is why I bought it, but it's going to be heavy. So it'll be nice to have something that's like not freaking giant. So thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, WhatsApp, for sending that to us. Yes. We cannot wait to see the documentary.
We're so excited.
This is going to be really cool. I cannot wait to see what they've done with this. And we'll see you all in the reaction episode and in our vlog, because we will be vlogging throughout all of our weekend in Miami. So don't forget to tune in to all of that next week.
Yes. All right, Catherine. I'll see you in Miami.
See you in Miami.